Hi everyone, this is a video that goes through how PowerPoint animation can be used for practical type demos or lessons, or as a flipped learning option to a practical or demo type class you may be running. So this is a brief introduction. So basically everyone knows your typical animation as shown here. You know, you click on it, you can add an animation if you just pop up here where the cursor is, pop down here, your typical fly in maybe, yeah, and there you are, fly in. You want the options which direction you want it to fly from. It'll fly down from the top, and in this case it's just the printed title, you know, and most people are familiar with that, but what I'm going to go into here is towards the more practical scenarios you might have. So that's just to get the ball rolling there. So that's a very quick, simple animation there. And if you want to replay it, you just pop it up here. Just follow my cursor here. Just click on that arrow there, and it'll replay it for you. And of course, if you want to change the speed of that, just go into the animation, click on the animation pane here, and you can just drag down the end of this little bar here, close that down again, and replay it again, and you'll find you've slowed down the rate that it comes in at. So that's fine, and that'll be used later on as we go into this video lesson. So just clicking on to the next slide. Here's the next slide. So I just popped in the title there again. Currently it says there's no animation as such, so I could leave it that way if I want, or I could just do a wipe. So click on wipe. I want to wipe from the top. Usually I like to wipe from the top when it comes to titles. So again, if you want to replay it, just hit that arrow there, and you can change the speed like I already showed you by going into the animation pane here and slow down the speed. So basically for this lesson, what I want you guys to be able to do is produce what's on the next slide, which is this little quick animation I put together there. Basically there's I've shown a green piece of, call it piece of timber if you like, or a piece of steel, or it could be anything, you know. And this is a square, and this is a pencil. I just drew it myself here using PowerPoint's own drawing tools. So you can quickly put an animation together to yourself if you like, using these options. So I'm just going to play this one here just to show you what can be quickly produced, and this is what we will be producing. So basically here's your piece of timber coming into play. It's in green. There's your square coming in, and here we have a pencil in to draw a line against that square. And this particular lesson then, if I go into the next slide, is going through the steps. We'll be going through the steps to show you how to check if a square is actually 90 degrees. In this case, if the two red lines are parallel, it means it is 90 degrees, provided it's straight edge, of course, here. So that's basically the gist of where we're heading with this lesson. So here I'm going to start with a blank slide. So the next slide will be a blank slide. So if I just right click here on the last slide, and I can just say, you know, new slide. There's my new slide, and I click directly on these frames here and just hit delete just to get rid of them title boxes. Just to make it completely clear. And while I have it clear, sure, I might duplicate that to make a second one, so I don't have to go through so much deleting. So here I'm going back to the first one. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag in a shape. So click on the slide and click on home here. Click on the home tab here. There's your home tab. So I'm just going to click on triangle here first, and we're going to start drawing that piece of timber that I showed you in green earlier that came into the picture. So here it is. We'll start down about here. Size is probably slightly different now, but that's okay. There's my piece of timber. Yeah, I can pick any color I want. I'll right click it, sure, and just go in here to colors, and I'll pick green, so it's pretty much the same as the one I already showed you guys. So there's your green piece of timber, and usually I like to put a squiggle on the side of being a timber, just to show you that it's the wide side of a piece of timber you're looking at rather than the narrow edge of the timber. So that's the face side mark for any of you who remember your woodworking days. So it makes the drawing a bit more understandable. So anyways, there's my piece of timber drawn. But the next thing I'll do is I'm going to click on the piece of timber, and I'm going to click and hold down the control button and click on the face side mark I put there. And the reason I'm doing this, I want to make these all as one object rather than two separate objects, because later on when I'm animating, I don't want to be animating them separately. I want to animate them as one object. So I've selected the two, as you can see there on the screen now. Or right click, and then when I right click, there's an option here to group. When I group, that makes it one object. Right, so now I know that when I grab that there, now I'm moving it as one object, which is what I want. Then I'd like to maybe animate that. So your typical animation is, first of all, click on the animations tab. So I'd like to show this piece of timber or piece of steel or whatever it might be coming from the left. So just click on animation, click on add animation here, and I'll click on fly in. Now currently the effect option up here tells me that it's going to fly in from the bottom because that's the direction the arrow is coming from. But I'm going to click the little down arrow here, and I'd like that to come in from the left. Alright, so there I have. I've just applied an animation. Here's the confirmation of it right here. Yeah. Sorry, that changed there. That should be coming in from the left. Yeah. There you go. When I clicked on it, it just went back to the default, so that's okay. Now, so if I want to confirm that I have done the animation of the piece of timber entering the screen first, just click on this preview button right here. So click on that. There you are. So you might say to yourself, okay, it came in a bit faster, I'd like to come in a bit slower. So if you go up to this animation pane here, click on that. And there's a bar here, usually green. Just stretch that out a little bit. And then just close that back down again. And close all this stuff down so you have a bigger screen. And go over here to the preview option here again, up at the top left hand corner. And click on the little play arrow here. And it will come in slower now, as you can see. So there's my piece of timber coming into the screen. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a pencil, for example. So I can quickly replace a pencil. If I go back to the home tab, just click on the home tab. So I'll just click on rectangle again. Just draw a rectangle. Don't worry about sizes. Basic rectangle. There you go. And I'm going to click on a triangle. And we're going to put a point on the pencil. There you go. Make it a nicer point. Okay. You know. So. There we go. Now I'm just going to move that into place there. Now when you see the move, options there. It's like a cross with 4 arrow tips. That means once you hover the edge of the frame there, it means you can grab on the frame by pressing down on the mouse button, on the left hand mouse button, and drag it into place. And of course we want the edge of this and the edge of the triangle to be the same, so I just grab this and bring it up so that it lines up, and you see an inference line hopped out there to confirm that the 2 points are lining up. Then I might like just to make the tip of the color of pencil a bit different, so I'll just click on that, right click, and I can just go copy. Right click, copy, right click, paste, and there I am. And I can just grab the corner and pull down that so the proportions stay the same, and move my mouse over the highlighted shape, or the one with the, what I call the grab bars. And when you see that black cross come up there, it means you can hold down the left button, pull it, and drag it into place. And I'll drag it in there, so that'll be the tip of my pencil. Of course, I'd like to have different colors here, so I'm just going to go make this any color at all. Just select it, right click it, and what color fill? Sure, I'll go in. I'll make it kind of a browny color. And this here, because I'm going to be drawing a red line later on, I'll make that red so it looks like a red tipped pencil. So again, click here, down there. There you go. There's your red tipped pencil. And sure, I can leave the rest of the pencil in blue. Doesn't really matter. So again, at the moment, these are 3 different items, separate items. Now, for animation purposes, I don't want them to be separate because I don't want to be making 3 separate movements or 3 separate animations. It's going to make it very complicated. So I just select the 3 parts of the pencil, the tip, hold down the control button, select the next one, and then select the next one. And then after you've done that, right click. After you right click, go down to the group option, hit group. Now that's measured as 1 unit. That's 1 pencil now that I can move around all around the shop, do what I want. Right? So I'll move the pencil into place while I'm at it. So when this change into the black cross again here, when I move the cursor in and change to a black cross with arrow tips, that means I can move it. So I'll move it right here, somewhere along here. That's fine. Over there. And there's my piece of timber again. Just clicking that. I might make it stretch just a bit longer. So there's my pencil in place. Pencil hasn't been animated yet. That's fine. It's in place. And the next item I want to make is a square. So for this lesson I need a square. So there's the stock of the square, and then I'll just pick it again and I'll make the blade of the square. And I suppose sure I'll right click the when I select the shape. Obviously, to do anything you have to click on the shape, and when you see those little circles going around it, it means it's now selected. So what do you want to do with the base is the next question. So right click, and I want to change the color to something that will mimic steel, I suppose. So I'll make it grey, I suppose. Shade of grey. There you go. And that's the stock of the square. So look at select it, right click, pop in here. Sorry, go there's outline and fill. Sorry, go into fill, the fill option, and again I'll just go brown, I suppose. You know, a typical wooden color. Okay, and then I just click on the steel blade, grab it up, and position it into the stock of the square. And doesn't look right because the steel goes into the stock, so the stock should be outside. So if I can send the steel to the back, it'll look better. So I'm going to, while it's selected, I just right click again and go to send to back option, and that should sort it. There you go. Now it looks like a square. Now the blade tool being a bit longer, maybe. There we go. Now, so if I want to get carried away, I can put 2 or 3 little circular studs there to really make a job of it, but that's fine as it is now. So I select the 2 items again. For animation purpose, I want this as one object, so I've selected the 2 of them. And I'm going to right click again and hit the group option and go to group. Now I have a square that I can move into position anywhere. So there's my square. Okay. Stock is a bit long, so I might be able to squash it a little bit. There we go. So, or move the pencil out if I have to. Yeah, so there's my square in place. Select the pencil, move the pencil out so it's in position with the square. So now everything's in position. Currently the only animation here is that green piece of timber. So what's the next thing I need to animate? Well, I need to animate the square coming into place. So I'll select the square. Where do I want to come from? What direction? From the top. So okay. So I'll select the square, hit the animations tab. I want to fly in, but not from the bottom, which is the default option here. I want it to fly in from the top. So there it is. That's going to fly in from the top first. So you have to think of the sequence of the operation. If you're doing an actual demo at the bench, in my case, I'd take the square in my hand first before I bring the pencil to the square. So you have to think of the sequence of this demo as you're doing it here on the computer screen as well. So the next thing will come into play would be the pencil, of course. So again, I just select the pencil. So next thing, the pencil comes into play. What way do I want the pencil to come in? I want it to come in from the right. So again, I'll just go for the flying option. Which direction do you want to come from? So here's the options. So click down here, and I want it to come in from the right. Okay, so the pencil come in from the right now. So if I want to preview this before I go any further, I can. Just go back up here, click on the preview button. So here's my piece of timber coming in. There's my square that my pencil came in quite fast, so I might slow that down. So that's fine. If I want to slow that down, go back to animation pane. Click on animation pane. And here you can see the bars are quite short, so yeah, that indicates it's quite fast. So I'll stretch them out a little bit. And stretch them out a bit more. Just close down that animation pane again. And look at, if you want to replay it again now, you'll see it slow down a little bit. So here's our pencil coming into place. And yeah, that's fine. The next thing that has to happen is that pencil has to move and a line has to move with it. So I'm going to draw a line. So I just go back to home again to get the drawing tools. Click on line. Click here. Anywhere at all there. And just click down here. Line is a bit crooked, so I'll have to grab it and pull it in straight. Now, sometimes with these cases you're as well to do it all out here, what you have to do, and then bring it in afterwards, so you can do that too. So I might color the line. I might decide, okay, I'll right click that line while it's still selected and I'll make it red maybe. There we go, red. And if I right click it again, I can go back in, go to outline again, and it gives me the option here to make it maybe slightly heavier. So there you go. That's slightly heavier. It's a red line. I'd like to animate that line. So I want that line to appear as if I've drawn it. So I'm going to select it, go back to animation, and this time I'm going to use the option called wipe. There's wipe, and I want this line to draw from the top down. So the default is going the wrong way. I want to go from the top down. So click on this option, and now you'll see this red line when I play it now appear as if it's actually drawn. Because if there's an invisible hand as it were drawn it. So I'll just hit the preview here. So here we're doing the whole preview here now, that's fine. And here's my square from the end of a bit earlier. There's the pencil arriving in. And there's the pencil drawn. There's the line wiped. Wiped out came up, appeared fairly fast because it is too fast in a way. So I'll just click on it again. And yes, you guessed it, we'll go back to the animation pane. And there, sure enough, that's very short movement there. So I'll make it a bit longer. Close down the animation pane again, and I know if I play that again that the line will wipe much slower. So, and that's fine. So now I've animated that, so I can move it into place, and the animation will move with it anyway. So I'll place it where I want it there now, and I also want the pencil to move with the line, of course. So I'll select the pencil, and I'm going to add an animation onto that pencil. This pencil, as you can see here, already has the flying animation. So I'm now going to add an animation on it here. So click on this option up here and go down here, and there's motion paths options. So click on the lines motion path. Click on that. And it's preloaded one for me already. It shows the darker outline of the original position of the pencil, which shows a green dot. So it's like traffic lights, green for go, red to stop. Here's the little red dot for stop. So I can grab that now. I can grab that pencil, if I grab that red dot, and have it stop where I want it to stop. Okay. Now, I'll just turn on the animation pane here just to show you guys something. There's the number 5. Animation number 5 relates to the pencil movement. I'm going to make that the same length as the previous one, which was the straight connector, which is the line that was animated. And also I want the line and the pencil to animate as one. Like for instance, just to show you what I'm talking about, if I leave it as it is, and if I play it, it won't look right. And I'll just show you, a picture saves 1,000 words, so this will explain it better. So yeah, everything's fine here so far. Timber comes in, square goes onto the edge of the timber, pencil comes in to draw the line, but look what happened. The line is gone ahead of the pencil, and now the pencil is playing catch up. So I don't want that. So what you do to solve that is go back to the animation pane and quite simply select the last option, like I've done here, right click it and go, instead of start after previous, which is the default here, come up to the one above it and click that one. Now they will start together. So here you have the square, and again pencils come into place again. Now the two are going together more or less. So that's the animation so far. For the next one, I suppose I'm going to duplicate that because I want to show another line drawn. So we'll just click on that, right click, and just go duplicate that slide. So now I have a duplication of that first slide. These two are the same, in other words. So here's the same one here. But I want the square to go the opposite way. So if I click on that square, because for this exercise it needs to go on, I need to flip the square and draw the line again. So select the square and right click it. And when you right click it, go into format shape. Here is your, I think there's an X, Y, and Z rotation. So I'm just going to try this one here first. Yeah, that's doing it. So if I clip that, turn that around, it'll like come to 180 degrees. Now I flip the square, and I can move that square then over to where I want it. So for this demonstration, I need to show the students that I flipped the square. The pencil now is in the wrong position, so I can just merely grab the pencil if I want, rather than going through that flipping paper, and just turn the pencil like that, move it. And now we'll play this animation. Now the direction of the animations mightn't be what we want, so let's just move this, because I will be drawing actually a second line. Grab that and I'm going to select and copy that line. So I want to copy the animation as well. So copy, paste. So I'm just going to move this. This is the second line I'm going to draw. And I'm going to move the pencil into that second line. And the first line was already animated, so I don't need to animate it a second time. So if I select this first line that was drawn earlier, I can just go back in here to the animation pane, and for this slide I can remove that. So select the straight connector here, right click, and just say remove. So now that doesn't have an animation, the first line, the first red line that was drawn in the previous slide. So let's play to see, is everything okay? So okay, so the line is staying there. Okay, so that didn't quite look right there, but that's okay, we can fix that easier. There's the pencil coming down, the line is following us, so that's a problem. Okay, so we can solve that easy enough. So what I'll do here is I'm going to select the actual green piece of timber or steel, whatever it might be, go back to animation, and I'm going to remove that animation as well. So click into that, and I'm going to go remove. So I've removed that animation, and the pencil, if I recall correctly, and the line were not going together, so there was something going on there. Yeah, so let's just replay that again there now, see how is that. Okay, that's looking a bit better. There's the pencil coming down, but I needed them to come together. Okay, and that didn't happen. So let's click on that. So that's the last animation there. There's the pencil, which has two animations attached to it. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say start with previous. Just going to replay that again. Okay. That suits me there. Okay, and I'm going to click on the square now and just move that into position with the line. And I can always use the up and down arrows on the actual keyboard if I want to change positions, as I'm doing right now, just to get it precisely into place. So you can do that as well. So yeah, so we'll just complete one more time. There it is. And of course, for this lesson, once the two red lines are parallel, that illustrates that the square is indeed 90 degrees. And of course, I might put in some text here as well, just to illustrate that. Okay, just want to make the point here that you can change from colors to actually something more realistic, like a wood grain effect, say in this example, by simply selecting the object that you want to change the color, right click, and go into going to fill and click on picture. And from the top option here, from a file in your own computer, you'll click the browse button. Click browse, and in my case here, I'm going to go down. I have some wood effect pictures I've saved from before. That's red deal there. So I just click on that and click insert, and there you have nice wood effect. And the same with all the other items. So I just wanted to add that there. Also, when you're saving this file, obviously file and save it, so you don't lose the PowerPoint version of it. But then when you finish, go to file and save as, and in this case I just saved the desktop location. And okay, it's got its name and all that there, but I don't want to save it as a PowerPoint presentation then, because when I put it up online, it works much better for me if it all plays as one movie. So I go down here to the MPEG-4 option. So save as file tab, MPEG-4, and then save that. And if you click save that, then click save, and you can see the little bar here loading down below. That lets you know that it's now saving it as an MP4 movie that can be played online for remote learning purposes, because a lot of the students mightn't have PowerPoint, or you don't want them trying to be clicking slides on and off and all of that. They can just stop and freeze the movie where they want to and replay it. It's much handier, in my view anyway. Yeah. And one further thing before I leave off, actually, the fact that you've gone to the trouble of drawing a pencil and you've drawn the path for it. So if I select the pencil here, sorry, just select the pencil itself. You don't have to redraw that pencil if you want to start a new slide on some other subject that needs a pencil, for instance. Well, now you can copy, you can right click, copy that pencil here and open up the new slide and right click and paste it. So all the work you've put into this now can be used over and over and over again for any slides going forward that needs a pencil, for instance. And you know, that's a handy thing to have. And you'll be copying it with its animation, by the way. So when you copy and paste into another drawing, it'll also have the animation. So in this case, that pencil will move down in a vertical distance the same length as that red line there. So that means, and the same goes for the square that you've created here, that square here. You won't have to recreate that again. You have it from, or you just copy and paste it from this PowerPoint into the other newer PowerPoint on another demo you might be creating. So after a while you build up a set of stuff that you can just reuse over and over again, so it's worth putting the time into it.